Welcome everybody to my live stream, Michelle Trina live stream. Very excited. I'm very excited. I got Oscar. Oh no, what happened? Oh, here he is. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure I have the right. I have a new window. Let's do a new tab, new window. Yes, all right. Hi guys. Let's get it started in here. All right, so I am gonna make some coffee. Let's fucking go. Okay. Let's make some coffee. I'm gonna bring you guys around. I have to move this over here. Hi. So, we're gonna make some coffee. We got Oscar Collazos coming on at what time? At 10 o'clock. Cannot wait. Very excited. I'm gonna make some Bustelo and we're gonna have a blast. I'm very excited. Hi, what's up everybody? Hello. So I'm not in my interview gear yet because I was literally just ran in the house to make sure I can do my sound check with Oscar and with plenty of time. So what is up? And I'm excited. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Yes, let's fucking go. Okay. So if you are tuning in a little bit, okay. I'm gonna bring you guys over here for a second. If you are hello. We're gonna go make some coffee. I did not clean the coffee pot, unfortunately. It's a little bit of a mess in here, as you can see. We're gonna go make some coffee. I did not go to the gym yet, unfortunately. I don't really go to the gym. Like, I just run outside, and that's what I do. We got some strawberries here. Like, I just run outside, and that's what I do. We got some strawberries here. Like, I just run outside, and that's what I do. We got some strawberries here. Like, I just run outside, and that's what I do. I know people have these. Just good morning. Yeah. Do I have abs? I don't know. Do I? I know people have these. I feel like everybody does. Good morning. We have stomach. We all have something in our stomach. Do I have abs? I don't know. Do I? I know people have these. Whether it's abs or no abs. We got something here. I know I had pancakes this morning. So it's maybe not the abs that it should be. But here, I know I woke up with a special gift from my boyfriend. He got me like a 3-month subscription with no ads until Tony special pieces of the show. For me to really like hone in on my skills for the potential to be on the show. I want to read what it is because it's really pretty nice that he got that for me. Very nice that he got that for me. For the potential to be on the show. I want to read what it is because it's really pretty nice. And I've been listening to the whole episode of this past Monday. He got me a 3-month subscription to the new Kill Tony plan that just launched last night, featuring ad-free episodes, uncensored sets and interviews, a high Maximilian fan favorite library, access to monthly Q&A session with Tony, which I'm gonna watch that today. Cannot wait. Alternate camera angles, merch perk. How sweet is that? And more. Isn't that a sweet thing to do? Thank you, John. I'm very excited. So I started watching yesterday's episode this morning. I got up at like 6. And I know the trans woman that's on there, Alexis. I worked with her during the pandemic with Eargasm Comedy. That's how I got this comedy award. I won one of the competitions, and Alexis was one of the regulars. Alongside me, we would meet and write and do like virtual shows together. So I saw her, alongside me, we would meet and write and do like virtual shows together. So I saw her. I won 2020 Eargasm Virtual Comedy Competition Festival. I won. Good morning, Okie Grower. I won 2020 Eargasm Virtual Comedy Competition Festival. Alexis is on Kill Tony. I know Alexis, and I thought it was great. She did a great job. She got asked. Spoiler alert, she got asked to be on the Secret Show. That's how good she did. She did a really good job. She wasn't told. Someone on the show who was told had talked about his new girlfriend he was dating who was trans, who he also never kissed. And I was like, I wonder Alexis, because he said, he's like, she's kind of known in the comedy scene. I was like, And when I was down there, I was like, Alexis, you moved down here. She reached out. She saw me to the Michelle. Kind of known in the comedy scene. I was like, And when I was down there, I was like, Alexis, you moved down here. She reached out. She saw me to the Michelle. I know why. Because I didn't mute myself. Sorry. Echo should be off. It's because I'm watching the live stream. Or I have it. Should be better now, right? Hi. So Alexis was on Kill Tony this week, and I know her from doing virtual comedy shows with her during the pandemic. Through Eargasm Comedy, she's from Ohio now. She's from Ohio originally. And actually, when I've worked at Funny Stop Comedy Club, those guys live out there. I think Alexis lives out there too, but she moved to Austin a couple of years ago. Anyway, pretty cool. So when you watch, I don't like the way my hair looks right now. Thank you for the gift, Megan. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the sparkle. We have Oscar Collazos on at 10 o'clock. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Oscar has a wealth of knowledge and some great perspective in the comedy world. He is a full-time comic. And he has a show. He does the Colombian, what is the name of his show? Colombian American, he has Colombian comics on his show. Sparkles again, Megan, I appreciate you. He also has a one-person show he's done before about his life. He was born in Colombia. He moved to Miami, I believe, in the second grade. So I'm really excited to have him on. Talk about his world of comedy and his business. She Got Metal. And also talk about comedy and how he got started. And he used to wait tables and bartend and all that stuff. So I did the second mic last night. I was on Twitch playing Marvel Strike Force last night and learning. John taught me a few things on there that I was like, oh. So I'm very excited for my special gift that I got this morning from my boo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. It's great to wake up late. Good morning to you. So Manny, I saw Manny, the mics last night. You told me I should probably get to the Kill Tony by 12 o'clock on Friday. Now I'm interviewing Mike Cannon on Friday on the live stream. This just in. Mike Cannon will be on my live stream. Yay! I'm very excited. And today we have Oscar Collazos. So we have 2 interviews this week. We might have another. If I could get a hold of Dedrick and see if he wants to be on Thursday, even better. We're going to have our coffee, we're going to stretch, and then we're going to interview Oscar. It's always a great feeling, too, when you wake up and your bank account's overdrawn, and you're like, fuck, man, what the hell? And it's because you do a $25, transfer every week to your savings account. So it's like, I just fucked myself for no reason. Hi, Don. I was proud of the fact last night, and not proud, but I went into each open mic with my set. I didn't go in with just random ramblings of pieces of jokes. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I didn't practice that beforehand. I stuck to my habits. Thank you for the flower, Megan.
Flower.
Appreciate you. All right, so now I'm going to move you guys over here because the, hi, James. We have, fucking. You guys hear music or no? I think I took it off.
Makeup brush.
Thank you for the gift. Wow, Megan, I need a makeup brush. I know. Hello. Hello. It is time for us to stretch with our coffee. You guys, I mean, no, it's not playing. I'm gonna put some music on for the stretching part. I don't want to mess up with my I had a sound check with Oscar and I don't want to mess up our sound too much. Thank you for the sparkles.
Sparkle. Silver star.
Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the gold coins. Thank you for the sparkles. Thank you.
Gold coin.
I'm gonna open both things. Thank you.
Silver star.
What? Thank you, Megan, for all the stars and stuff. I appreciate you.
Silver star.
Thank you. Megan, where are you based out of? Megan is sending a lot of stars. Thank
Silver
you.
star.
I don't know why yesterday the skin didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Like it was not as much coffee. But, wow. Yeah, Megan.
Silver star.
You're on point with the stars, honey. Alright. There's also voice to
Silver
text,
star.
so when you donate here, look. Show you guys. When you donate through yeah, I felt good about running the I felt good about just being more prepared with not that I should always feel prepared. It's just that I felt like I want to put that. You have voice to text here. I mean, if you guys can hear it. Okay, here we go. We're getting a lot of stars from Megan. Megan, where are you based out of? This Nelly Gonzalez Rodriguez. Can I be your superhero? Thanks, Megan. How long have you been following the show? Just enough. Look at that. Just enough to know. St. Louis. How did you find out the show? Just scrolling? Or yeah, I would love to hear how you guys find this. How you find things.
Walk on water cause I'm drowning and you made it. Met you on the corner, first in love, it was payday. Candy colored nails, match the candy coated bands. I needed your contact, my eyes bugging out my head.
So like I said, My boyfriend had bought me this, gifted me a 3-month subscription, an exclusive Kill Tony package that has ad-free episodes. It's a plan, sorry. And access to monthly Q&A session with Tony, a bunch of other stuff. I'm really excited to see the monthly Q&A session with Tony. I think that's going to be cool. So I'm going to, once I finish the episode, I'm almost finished with last night's episode. And it's really good. I am finding people on the show every week that I have run into or met or worked with. So I don't know if that's a good omen or because Kill Tony I've worked with people or whatever, but hoping that I get picked. I am going to run my set. I ran my 1 minute, my 5 minute, my 10 minute, my 15 minute yesterday. I worked with shows. Should be able to hear me. Good morning, Enlightened. Well, I can't turn the levels off right here. But testing. Why is it hard to hear me? The music? I'm not changing the microphone levels. I just did a sound check with Oscar. It's probably because of the music, but I'm just making some coffee. Ay. Test. No, I fucked that up. That's alright. How's the work? Yeah, it's louder than me. It's the same level because I have it. I'm lowering it on the YouTube side. How's the work going? It's good. It's good. Alright. Last night I did 2 open mics and I felt strong about both of them because I stuck with my set. Maybe the second one I went off a little bit, but for the majority I stuck with the set. Why are you so against the music? Stella. We would love for Costello to become an official sponsor of the Michelle Trainer YouTube. There's part of me that's like, when you're supposed to say like I belong here, and like this, like I feel weird not saying Divorce Diaries because I've always it's been my show, but it's more than Divorce Diaries. This is not just a live stream about divorce. It's about my life, comedy. When I say, oh, the Michelle Trainer YouTube show, it's like, wait, who am I? I was like, people are like, who's that? Ooh, watch it, okay. Not very nice. Yikes. You are Pretty Woman. I am Pretty Woman. Thank you. So, I am excited because I'm going to get to interview Oscar. I have this new 3-month Kill Tony plan. I get to watch some other clips from his show that are not from on the net, like additional content. And I'm really excited to keep listening to it today and then prepping my practicing interview questions if I were to get picked for Collazos. In addition, I got booked on 2 shows yesterday. Local shows in Jersey in September. But that's great. We want to keep the bookings coming. Good morning, how are you? Black Rifle coffee is pretty good. Okay. I like my Bustelo. I like how it feel in the morning. Yeah. Okay. Steaming is the worst. I know. It is the worst, but it's got to get done, right? Okay, so we are stretching this morning. We're making our coffee. Oscar Collazos is coming on at 10 o'clock. What are you doing in Toronto? When are you doing Toronto? Watch Your Clip show is hilarious. Carlos, thank you. So I already was in Toronto. And the thing is this. Oh, you might have to change locations? Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. That shouldn't affect the volume. Okay, so Oscar is changing locations, he's saying. Yes, Caffeine Queen. Yes, honey. We're gonna move that over here so that you can see the coffee is about to be ready. I am not from Greece. What made you think I'm from Greece? Do I not have milk? Oh no. Shit. Well, this might be an interesting stream. I have to run and get milk at the grocery store. Not the grocery store, I have to run and get milk at the corner store. So you guys might have to be here by yourself. That's a little crazy. Looks like I'm gonna have to do it. Pam. Yeah, I might have to get milk from the corner store because I can't take the whole computer there. This is what we'll do. Alright. Here we go. I know. I'm always so prepared as my camera falls to the keyboard. I know, look at me. Alright, well here's what we'll do. I'm gonna keep playing music. Mercy on my soul. I'm just gonna have the Bustelo sitting here. Hey, you know what? It happens. I rather it not. Let's see. I'm making coffee, honey. Right back. We're going to start. Thank you. I will be right back. We'll make. I gotta go get the milk because I totally forgot milk. I'm finding a way. I can live with it well, but I want you right back, guys. I don't even care. I want you to listen to what I say. I love you, but it's so confusing. I'm winning at the same time losing. I love you, but it's so confusing. I'm winning at the same time losing. I'm not ready for being loved. I need more time, a little
Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm your home. I wanna be with you always. Know you're not alone, 'cause I'm your home. Whoa.
I'm back. I'm back. Wait, what? I don't know. What's the timeout take? I just find that funny. I'm putting you guys on the stove because it's a little. Oh, you vey. Alright, we got the milk. Where's the shot? You're trying. Listen. Strawberries or raspberries, guys? Or, I mean, ew. Let's go a little bit lower. Let's go a little bit lower. No, that's even very low. I can't even hear it now. So, or did I turn it? Oh, I turned it off. Testing 1, 2. It's so hard to do without like a monitor. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, you can hear me fine. I think it's fine. I don't know. I think it's fine, but whatever. All right. So, as a big Hail Tony fan, and I'm excited that I'm going to be trying out for the Madison Square Garden show Friday and Saturday. I also feel like my money is slowly dripping out so fast this week. It's giving me anxiety. And I'm just like, come on, bro. But that's okay. I'm going to just not think about that and think about keeping to the habits every day. Good morning, Daniel. I'm doing great. Woke up to a very lovely surprise from my boyfriend. Good morning, Mad Acoustic. Giving me a 3-month prescription to a new Kill Tony kind of the ad-free episodes, special interview, special Q&A with Kill Tony, and other perks. I'm very excited. Already in the episode, he's like, oh, this is where we would go to an ad, and he's talking to the audience. It's pretty cool. I liked it. I'm excited, and I'm excited to hear that Q&A with Tony. And I also want to go over interview questions, just to prepare if I were to get picked. So excited. I also have to get changed. And not in this for the interview. Like brush her hair and shit. Okay. This away. What questions do you want me to start with Oscar? Have you guys found him on Instagram? I showed you guys his Instagram yesterday. We'll share it again in the chat. Oscar Collazos. Colombian comic. Okay. And let's also do a little bit of our shoulder rolls. Ugh. Did anybody watch the Kill Tony episode yesterday? I thought it was good. So far, so good. Like I said, I know the woman Alexis, the transgender woman that's on there. I worked with her. I also ran into her in Austin, and I was like, "Oh, you moved down here," and it was this whole thing. And then when they were talking about this guy's girlfriend who hasn't kissed yet, he's transgender, I was like, "I wonder if it's Alexis," and it was. So I find that interesting and kind of cute. I'm noticing this is just the top chat, a live chat. Or the coffee is coffeeing, so. Good morning, Jonah Ashwell. Damn it, Michelle. Here we go. We are here this morning. Special guest, Oscar Collazos at 10 o'clock. Mike Cannon's going to come on later on in the week. As long as he finds childcare. Although he said that should work. Friday. As soon as that interview is done on Friday, I'm going to go right into Kill Tony. Because apparently people are going to be lining up for hours. Manny told me that he got there at 1 o'clock in 2024. There was 20 people ahead of him. He got there at 1 o'clock last year. There was 100 people ahead of him. So that means I have to leave here as soon as my interview is done. Mike Cannon. Alright, so then we're gonna get to 100 likes, we do 100 jumping jacks. If we can get to 100 likes with Oscar on the show, maybe we'll have Oscar do the jumping jacks. Or maybe not, I don't know. Depends how Oscar feels. But we'll definitely do 100 jumping jacks. Maybe that's part of it. We're gonna have to figure out what outfit I'm wearing for this interview. Because I don't want to wear this. This was something I ran out of the house with this morning. Let's bring my daughter to the camp. Coffee time. Coffee time. Okay. So last night's sets at both open mics were prepared more. I feel like second one was a little more loosey-goosey. Not loosey-goosey, but I rambled a little bit in the middle. But we have a coffee tomorrow. I have 3 of these at John's house now, and I also have another one there. We did a Twitch stream last night. If you missed it, playing Marvel Strike Force. We'll be back on again on Wednesday. Talking some comedy. Maybe we'll play a game again on Wednesday. I don't know. Don't dress like a woman. I want him to like me. What? So, don't dress like a woman. I want him to like you. Stretches. Do them with me. And our leg extensions. Ooh, if you hear that crack. toe behind your, well, I'm gonna do this one. This one up a little bit. Heel to the butt. And, nope. Heel to the butt. I do feel that I'm getting more in a rhythm now as we're using Streamlabs, and I like this. I like the feel of more of a production value. I'm all over the place. I get it. I'm all over the place from person to times. It doesn't mean that I also can't be structured. I am excited to interview comics on, or other, just people in general who are in the entertainment field, or someone that's sparking my interest, because I like that part of the job. It's one of the things I miss about What's Up New York, is that interview part of like helping people share their story and making them feel comfortable share their story. And I'll share that with you guys. Here we go for a sip of the coffee. You guys can see this handle's burned pretty badly. It's like, you could smell the burnt, like, plastic on it. I think Alexis did, when you watch Kill Tony, Alexis, the trans woman comic that I know, she did really well. She didn't get bucket pulled. She got pulled because her boyfriend got bucket pulled, or the guy that she's dating got bucket pulled, and they brought her out. And she just sat, and that was her second time on the show, because they also knew her. They're like, oh, Alexis. And I was thinking, when is this, my daughter was getting into it too. She's like, who is the girl? Like, because, and then they also had the guy kiss somebody. Tony Hinchcliffe is not gay, I know. The Barachi and Boy George were not gay, neither is Tony Hinchcliffe, okay. Tony was married to somebody. You did stretch your legs today? We're gonna stretch the hips here. Let's stop the door. Stretch the hips. I don't think it's a big, like, I think that Alexis did the best out of anybody so far as I'm watching the show, and then Red Man also asked her to be on the Secret Show. So when you watch the episode, curious to hear your opinion on how well you think Alexis did. Now, I've known Alexis for a while. I remember when she started doing stand-up. She's definitely come a long way. I think she's gotten a lot better. So I thought that was pretty cool to see her. And I had just seen her in Usta, but I was like, I wonder if that's Alexis. Dedrick Flynn, right now, I'm on Dedrick Flynn's interview. And I thought his 1 minute this week was really good too. Last night's show, yes. That's the one I'm on. I'm almost finished watching it, I think. Because John got me this ad-free new Kill Tony plan. He got me like a 3-month subscription to it. How nice is that? It's to prepare me for this week. That's a lovely, sweet thing to wake up to, isn't it? How do you know Tony Hinchcliffe likes scrapbooking? It's bizarre that you know that. I mean, maybe it's not bizarre. Maybe you have a 3-month subscription to a plan that I don't know about. Alright, so we're having Oscar Collazos on at 10 o'clock. We're going to interview him about being a comic. And his world is a full-time comic. He just came back from Ohio, actually. On his Instagram feed yesterday. I think he had just gone on an 8 a.m. flight. Oh, I haven't watched Pat yet. I didn't get to Pat. Yeah, Pat's great. Now, I have a question about the Will Montgomery, because isn't he a regular too? So, like, why isn't he really coming on now? Unless they have to split. Where's Health? Where is he? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, where is he? Why isn't he, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he's not on, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Why he's not regularly on. Because I feel like he was sick or something, they had said. And then Dedrick was like in the Japanese jail. And then I don't know what was going on with Will Montgomery, but how does that work? Don't they have, do they have 3 regulars? Oh my god, I'm spilling this. All over the place. That was not Tony Hinchcliffe. The NBC page? No, that was not Tony Hinchcliffe. Absolutely not. Alright, clean this up. Alright, so Friday, I don't know, I guess, what time I would leave, but I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to now figure out rides for my daughter's practice. Yeah, today's one of those days too with when it comes to like, you wake up, you're in great mood, but then like the only thing that's frustrating is a little bit of honey shit, and it's like, hey, babe, I gotta like do some deep prayer. I don't know what I'm praying. I'm just praying for like, fine. Just keep doing what you're doing, it'll happen, right? Adam Ray, it was cute that I like that if you didn't watch the episode yet, Phil Tony, he talks about that he's, spoiler alert, he's 5 months pregnant with his wife, and he actually gave Alexis a very big compliment about how she came on with a lot of energy and made the most of her minute. We made the most of everything. He was right. She really did. I was like, she did a really good job. There was one guy that just sang the thong song. It was a fucking disgusting, pathetic, pisses me off. It's like, are you come there and you get picked, and that's such a waste of other people's time, which are people that want to be on the show as a comedian, and it's just annoying. But I guess it's that's part of the whole thing, right? It was like you just wasted somebody else's spot for your stupid bullshit that you just did. Just do high picks. You guys think if I get on, I should be like, I'm a single mom? No, I don't know. I think I just need to stick to the joke. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift. For the hiding beach?
Hiding.
What is that? What's that? Good morning, Ben. Last night I also stepped on something, or something was like glass, and I cut my finger. I don't know what the fuck it was, but. Alright. We got about 15 minutes before we do our interview, so let's get some more stretches in and get me get my mat. I just cleaned up the coffee that I spilled on the floor. So I'm starting to feel like I'm sounding like the person I didn't want to sound like. I was talking to a comic last night about how I'm going to stop paying for casting networks and Actors Access because I'm not booking anything. And they're like, yeah, but that's part of the process as an actor. Like, you keep... I say, yeah, but I haven't been booking in a while. And it's like, they're like, well, that's part of it, though. But part of me is just like, I don't know if I'm going to be utilizing my time best by submitting for those auditions, and whereas I could be submitting for stand-up spots. So, either I keep it and just let the castings pile up and not submit every day. But see, I'm not submitting every day, so that's why I'm just like, I think I stopped the Actors Access one. I think I need to reach out to the agent I worked with, because I really didn't work with her, and just say, look, I'd love to audition, but I'm not paying for casting networks anymore. So, that's it. Oh, I'm spilling this shit all over the place. I have to upload this video for Alexis. I meant to do this. This is Alexis from St. Mark's. Hang on. Where is it? I meant to do it this weekend, and it was taking so long to upload, and I didn't do it yet, so hang on. And this is it. Here we go. Bam. Alexis. So Alexis is one of the owners of St. Mark's Comedy Club in. See how long it takes? Look, it takes a long time to upload 15-minute on your phone. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. But coffee is spilled here too. Sorry. All right. My nails are a fucking mess, and I don't have the funds to get my nails done. Jeez Louise. And that's okay. And that's alright, because we're just happy to be here, happy to be a part, happy to enjoy, happy just to be doing what I love to do. I always say that to myself, regardless of money and shit, like, every day I wake up, I get everything I do in my day is a part of something I planted years ago to really get to a place where I can work from home and do all this stuff and really concentrate on what I love to do. Make money from it, and that's great. So regardless, that's what I have to just keep reminding myself to be grateful for. So preparing for Kill Tony, working my 1 minute and the interview questions. I think actually that's what I should just solely focus on this week as opposed to running my sets. Even though running my set is important, I know like yesterday I ran my 5, yesterday and my 10, my 15. I also ran my minute, but then I was like, you know what? You should really focus in on the interview questions, running your answers, just all of that this week. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm not going to harp too much on like my 15-minute set or my 10-minute, but I want to put the chat this way so I can see a little bit closer. I can't really see it right now. We got how many people? We got 10 minutes till Oscar. We're gonna do some ab stretches. Ab circuits. Sorry. Alright, I'm gonna read the chat now. Sorry about that. No, it's his whole set. So what happened was, Alexis's phone cut out, and I was like, all right, I'll just take his set. He did 15 minutes, so he's like, how can we share it? Because he had no storage left on his phone. And then I was like, I'll just upload it to my drive. And then I didn't have a second to do it this weekend. Why is it not going back? Alright, there we go. Still waiting for you to accidentally say something remotely funny. You're on hour 3.7 of YouTube live footage. Wow, elderly hunk. Of course, I am dressing like that. I'm gonna dress like the Forever 21 manager. We know that. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Where are we at with likes today? We're gonna have to, we're at 64 likes. Get it? 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah. Safe neighborhood. I was able to, I think I told you guys yesterday, what the hell was that? I think I told you guys this yesterday. I was able to lift this heavy weighted, this weight that was on this long bar that the army guy was lifting. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but I was able to lift it. I felt strong. Okay. Now what we gotta do. Yes, this is taking like a while to upload. What we gotta do is we're gonna move over to the You know what happened. I yanked it out. When I was moving the laptop, it got yanked out. So, sorry about that. Really? Is that what they do? That's bizarre. Alright, we're gonna get ourselves ready. Notebooks here. We're gonna move. We're gonna figure out what I'm wearing. I don't know what to wear here. I don't look great in this outfit. I like this dress. Okay. Well, my hoops. It's old military trick. Oh, hoops on for this? Should we put some hoops on? I don't think that's good. I have like all these razors in my bag. All right. Looking in the closet for 20 Hinge Club. Alright, so we're going to start the interview in 2 seconds. Let me get changed. go, people. Here we go. I don't know what this is like right now, but let's see. This is cute Alf, right? Alright, these are the things I gotta do. Alright, Oscar's coming on. We're still uploading Alexis's tape. Alright guys, we are getting ready to have Oscar on. Okay, this is actually pretty heavy on the cleave, but that's right. I just didn't want to look. What's up, Chris? Gotta heat up the coffee. Everybody heat up your drink. This Oscar's coming on in 1 minute. So, we have Oscar Collazos coming on for the interview. Gotta make sure, not that this matters, this is a live stream, but we're taking every part of the live stream. Let me move back a little bit. It's not super close. We're going to say, alright. We're going to turn off our music. What is this? Hold on a second. Turn off our music. Alright, don't forget, you can tip us. You can say something in the chat. I'm just trying to see where else we could do. We got it. We got it going on. Alright. Thank you. Lunar Beam. Yes. Alright, I'm going to do the lunar. I have to do it up here.
Flex. Flexed bicep emoji.
Double flex. Double flex. Thank you, Lunar Beam. Gabo. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so thank you, Lunar Beam, for that. Oscar's on the call. Let's go. What is up, Oscar?
What's happening?
Oscar, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I
6,
can.
7.
I can't see you.
Can you see me now?
No.
That's weird. Let me try again. Alternate apps is using the camera. Hang on. Deactivate when not shown. Already doing that. You see me now? You should be able to see me. What the heck? Let me try. Let me do something. Hang on. All right, well, I can see myself on the screen, but I can't see Oscar. Everybody try again. All right, hang on, Oscar. Let me leave and then come back in. All right, I'm going to just leave the call and then rejoin it. Thank you for the Unk Alert. All right.
Unk Alert.
This thing is, why is this thing not working? So
You want me to hang
I
up
see.
and log back on?
No, I see why it's doing that. Never mind. All right, I am here.
Oh, look at that room.
Man, you know what? Hang on, I'm gonna get my Zoom for my Here we go. You know what's so funny? I have a new webcam, and I am like, there you go. We don't want to see what fucking mess is my room. Okay. We got a chat going on, Oscar. So 150 people on. There's an infinite echo. Hang on. My boyfriend's telling me there's an echo. So let me see. Okay. All right. So welcome. We just did this recording. Hold on. All right. Welcome, Oscar Collazos. Everybody in the chat right now, just let me know. Oh, I think I know why There is an echo. Hang on. Although I don't know why. So welcome everybody. It's Oscar Collazos is in the chat. He's a full-time comedian. He is from. It's all good now. Thank you for the Uncle Alert, Zach. We have comedians in the chat too. Look at that. Oscar, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Yes. The grass is always greener on the other side.
But I met you back in like 2000, and I want to say 17, 18. I think 2018. And we did a show at Gotham Comedy Club. Michelle, remember?
Yes.
And I was saying yesterday that you were so nice and just a nice person, and also really funny. And that stuck with me. So I always watch your content, and then now, of course, I bother you about all kinds of comedy questions. You're like my comedy doula.
Comedy therapist.
Yes, therapist, but I also feel like you're a doula. You help give birth to my jokes and my process.
Yeah, I guess both.
All right, so talk to us a little bit about, just to give you guys a recap, and Oscar's going to fill in. Yes, Zach is inviting you to his comedy show next Saturday if he's around. If Oscar's around, Zach wants you to come. So Oscar, just a little bit of the backstory, and I've told them you were born in Colombia, and then you moved to the States. You moved to Miami in second grade.
Yes. More specifically, we moved to Fort Lauderdale, just north of Miami. The reason I say that is because if people from Miami hear that I say Miami, but they really know that I'm in Fort Lauderdale, they get really angry. It's almost like when people are like, "Oh, I live in New York, but they live in New Jersey." You know what I mean? And then the people in New York are like, "Bro, you live in Jersey. Shut up."
Yeah, I know. I'm like one of those people. Like I'm a Jersey girl. That's why I always say I'm from Jersey. And then sometimes people are like, "Well, you're like, aren't you just from New York?" I'm like, "No, I'm from Jersey," because people get really upset, even though I'm 12 miles away. Also, just a side note, guys, keep in the chat. Do you still hear an echo? Yes or no? Anyway, we're gonna keep moving it along. All right. So you then moved to Fort Lauderdale. When did the bug of performing start?
Wow, that's a good question. When did the bug of performing start? I've given this a lot of thought, and to be honest, I think I've always kind of secretly desired attention, I guess. Um, so here's how I pieced my performance bug all the way back to when I was little. So when we first moved here to the United States from Colombia back in on August 9th, 1986. So literally in 5 days from today, it will be our 40th year of coming to this country legally, because I know people get bent out of shape legally. So we came here and I was in second grade. I remember in third grade and fourth grade being voted funniest in the class. I remember in fourth grade specifically when our teacher would write on the chalkboard and her back was towards us. I would jump up on top of the desk and like make funny faces, and then everyone would laugh, and then I'd sit back down, and then the teacher would turn around and she'd have no idea. So like just I don't know, those type of act outs. I'm like, oh, I desired attention. I desired I enjoyed making people laugh. Like I like wowing people. Fast forward to college, I get asked to, just because I had a personality, they were like, "Hey, do you want to host this event? You'd be great for this Hispanic Heritage Month, just because I assembly." So like at the beginning of the school year, all the little immigrant Latinos at my university came to see what was going to be offered for our culture, and I got to host it, and I just like riffed. You know what I mean? They gave me a script, but I also riffed, and then people really responded to that. That's kind of the history behind it. But then I was an intern on Conan, and I started doing stand up. I got booed off stage, and here we are doing a podcast in 2026.
Wait, I love it. So, okay. All right. So I've had so many things with Divorce Diaries, and now really it says Divorce Diaries, but I've changed the name to just Michelle Traina YouTube. So, yeah, I've done like I feel like everything in the world to get my craft out there. You were an intern on Conan. So was this like so? How was that, and for how long were you intern?
I was an intern on Late Night with Conan O'Brien at Rockefeller Center here in New York City. January 2001 until May of 2001, and it was it was a life-changing experience. Not that it was like crazy in that sense, but it was okay. So here's the real breakdown. I was a communications major in college, and I wanted to work for any sports team, mainly the Miami Dolphins, but I wanted to work for any sports team in their communications department. So I sent a bunch of cover letters and resumes to all these football teams, but I just randomly was like, you know what? Let me send one to Conan. I got the address right here. I might as well just send it. And no one responded except Conan. You know, Conan's people reached out and they were like, "Hey, we'd love to interview you." I think I did well enough on the interview for them to accept me. And I was actually Max. Okay, so Conan had his band, and it was called Max Weinberg and the Max Weinberg Seven. So I was actually Max Weinberg's intern and the band, but I was Max Weinberg and the musical department intern. So I did your typical intern stuff. Get coffee, you know, get sheet music, buy things for their instruments, get Max's car. So it wasn't groundbreaking stuff that I was doing, but it did expose me to comedy on a more professional level, and that's kind of how I got into stand-up comedy. So it was life-changing, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
Well, it's still a great experience for you to have had. And guys, I just put Oscar's Instagram on in the chat. By the way, if you wanted to voice,
Which one did you put up?
I was just gonna say is you have two. I got the Colombian comic, Oscar Collazos. So he is two, but we follow Colombian comic. He's at 10K. Good for you. Yes, I love it. Right?
Yeah.
So now, at what point did you start? What age did you start doing stand up? Like, when you went to your first mic, and what was that? And I know you did the Apollo. We're gonna get to the Apollo, and I heard you were on a podcast that I talked about. That I really liked the clip about Marcelo Hernandez, and it was a great piece because it was talking about being ready when you get that golden opportunity. Make sure you're ready. And I want to talk about that, but first, talked about your experience at the Apollo. Was that your first time ever doing stand up?
No, okay, so I did do the Apollo, but it wasn't my first. My first time ever on stage was at Caroline's Comedy Club on March 21st, 2001. There was a show that was run by these radio personalities that used to be on, I think, 103.5 by the name of Star and Buck Wild. So they had this amateur contest. You remember them?
I know Starbuck well. I interned at KTU.
Oh, okay. So you know, Starbuck Wild were like mean. They were like
Yeah.
mean people, right?
I interviewed in 2001 at KTU in that summer. That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So that year, they March 21st, 2001, I show up to this show at Caroline's, and the story is much longer. It's got a lot, you know, great detail, but I'll shorten it up. I show up. I'm the only non-black performer. They see that. They put me up first. I bomb horrifically. I get booed off stage. It was a gong show. They gonged me off the stage. I am absolutely mortified. You know what it's like to get booed off stage by almost 400 all black people? It is absolutely horrifying. It makes you a little racist. I'm just joking, but it's bad. It was bad. And here it got even worse. It just kept getting worse because here I am humiliated. I just got booed off stage. I got gonged off stage. They ridiculed me on stage. They're like, "Man, get the fuck off the stage." I'm sorry. I don't even know if I'm supposed to curse or not.
No, you
But
can't.
that's verbatim. Verbatim. They were like, you gotta get off stage. So as I'm walking off stage, they're like, "Why don't you come back?" So I went back, they interviewed me some more, they ridiculed me some more, and then I left that stage so demoralized. It was one of the lowest points of my entire life. It was horrifying, it was bad, but I stuck around before I left. Michelle, you know how on at Caroline's, when RIP Caroline's, when it was open, you would leave
Yes.
stage left
Yes.
and you would walk along the wall and then make a left into the green room slash
Yes.
kitchen.
Yes.
Right. So as I'm about to make that left, I was like, you know what? Just sit back here and see what else happens tonight. And the rest of the performers, who were all like rapping or singing or doing poetry, they all got booed. All of them got booed. Every single person got booed. Like there was a dude, I kid you not, there was a dude that they brought on stage. He was probably like number 8 on the list. He was like, hey, before I do what I do, I'd like to bring my girl up on stage. And they were like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. So he brings his girl up on stage. He gets down on one knee. He proposes to the girl and then gets booed off stage.
A booed for a proposal? That's
A
insane.
boo for a proposal. It was horrible.
So, just so you guys know, fun fact, Oscar did my first performance at Caroline's with Divorce Diaries, which was a shit show of a show. Not because of Oscar, because I was so green and I let everybody take a guest spot. People were going, Oscar was not going past his time. I was on another level of not knowing what I was doing. But Oscar performed on Divorce Diaries back in like 2018 at Caroline's. Always a most professional person though on stage. Always a joy. So okay, we're getting some questions in the chat for you as well. But just to go back, so you got booed off Caroline's, but now when brought you to the Apollo? But everyone got booed. So the point of the story was, no matter what, you stuck around to watch, and it helped inform you about your next decision or the next step in your journey in comedy, right?
Yeah, so I mean, the next step was really the next day when I went back to Conan. When I was an intern on Conan, I went back the next day. I was humiliated. I was mortified. And DL Hughley was a guest on the show. And as an intern, you're not really around the people who are interviewing, the celebrities. I was the musical intern. So I was actually on the floor where they tape because the offices were on 9 and the studio was on 6. So I was on the studio, and I was really good friends with hair and makeup. And hair and makeup, it was just one dude and one lady, but they loved me and I loved them. And when they were filming, I would just watch the show from hair and makeup. So DL Hughley comes, and this is literally like the next day. He's there, and I was like, I'm not supposed to talk to these people, but I was like, screw it, I'm going for it. And I introduced myself to DL, and I was like, hey sir, my name's Oscar. I just did stand up for the first time yesterday. And I told him what happened, and he was so mad. He was like, no, don't ever do those type of shows. They trick you into getting on stage so they can humiliate and boo you off, and then they can get the laugh off of you. So what you need to do, and these were his words, with more colorful terminology that I will not be repeating, but he goes, you need to go to a white people club. Go to a white people club because white people are going to respond differently. And then he goes, and then once you get good with the white people, then maybe try black people again, because in his words, he goes, we suck. Black people suck. And I was like, okay. So I went to the Stress Factory on a Wednesday, and do you know Julian McCullough?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So he opens for Nate.
Yeah.
So
Nate
he was
Bargatze.
the host. He was the host that day. He used to host the open mics. So anyways, I went on stage, I got a couple chuckles, and I was like, that's it. There's something here. And I just kept going. Fast forward to, I get a phone call from Bob Sumner. Bob Sumner was the producer for Def Comedy Jam.
Bob is huge in the comedy world.
Yes, he's very big. And he was like, hey, actually no, let me backtrack, because he didn't. this is a very fast forward, but I want people to understand the process. He didn't just call me. He used to run a room. I think he still does in Willingboro, New Jersey, which is kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
It's by Trenton because I used to live in that area. But yes, it is far down.
Yes. So it's way far down. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's like it's this very obscure venue. And if you wanted him to see you, you had to drive down there and get a guest spot. So I drove all the way down there. I got a guest spot. He liked me. He invited me to do a couple of other shows around Newark. So I did a couple of other shows around Newark. And then he called me and he was like, "Hey, I'd love to have you at my Apollo Theater show." Now, I'm gonna admit to how many ever people are watching this that the Apollo Theater, everyone knows it as that big space that has the 2 levels, and that's where you see, Showtime at the Apollo. That's where you see where people get booed off stage by the Sandman or whatever. But it also has a smaller stage upstairs. That's what I did with Bob Sumner. I did the smaller room. I never tell people that because no one ever no one knows that. No one realizes that. And
Right.
I'm not also going to minimize listen, did I play at the Apollo Theater? Yes, I did.
100%,
Was it
yeah.
the small room? It was.
You still played at the Apollo Theater. So fuck
That's
that.
it.
you know?
I carved my name into one of the wood panels.
I love that. All right, so you play at the Apollo Theater, and how does it go?
It was very interesting because the Apollo Theater side room is much smaller. It fits maybe about 100, 150. And what was really interesting was that it was a stark division where half the room was your Harlem residents that have been going for many years, so predominantly Black and pro-Black. And then on the other side, it looked, I swear to God, Michelle, it looked like a bus from Times Square that had nothing but Norwegian tourists drop them off, because it was blonde hair and blue-eyed people that didn't understand a single thing.
And we're going to get to this connected to you performing on cruise ships, because you have to be able to be funny for every walk of life that comes on those cruise ships. But now you're also, in the meantime, right, you're doing stand-up, you have a background as a server, because I used to love your content about being a server. So talk to us about that, and also how now your heritage of being Colombian, how that came into the mix. And are you opening with jokes about your upbringing? I always opened with jokes. I started with talking about my divorce, right? I'm also branching out now more so about beyond divorce, but I started with that like lens. I'm a divorced mom. I'm a single mom, right? So do you go in with your set as being a Colombian? Are you talking about serving? Are you doing topical stuff? What are you doing at this point with around the Apollo time?
Well, around that time, I was just kind of, Jesus, I got to be honest, to kind of sum up what you just said. I've been performing on cruises for the last 4 years, and I think it has springboarded me into being a much better performer, because I've been on stage so much with the cruises. We do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows at all 30 and 45 minutes. So I've been able to develop. I think back at what the performer that I was when I was at the Apollo, and I was definitely newer. I was definitely greener. I'd still had some years under my belt, but compared to where I am now, I'm like, oh, I would love to go back, because I have a whole different, approach. I would always come out with, yes, cultural stuff. My opening joke, you come on stage, you got to get these people's attention real quick. It's like quick joke, get them to like you, then they stay on board. Because if you're up there fumbling, they're like, bro, this guy stinks. So I always, one of my quick opening jokes is cultural, and it goes, it's like, hey guys, I'm from Colombia, and I'll never forget the day that my parents told us we were moving. My mom came in and she said, hey, Oscar, we're leaving Colombia. There's too many drugs. There's too many drugs here in Colombia. We're moving to Miami, which is exactly where the drugs were going back in 1986. Everybody knows that Miami is a place where people go do drugs. So that's kind of the opening joke, that it establishes that I am Colombian, but then, people don't hear an accent. They're like, oh, okay, this kid's American, he's Colombian. And then depending on the audience, I'll navigate. on these cruises, you get a lot of middle white America, and I can't just start talking about me being an immigrant to people from Arkansas because they don't give a flying F. You know what I mean? So I start with other stuff. So it depends on what the audience is, where I kind of just navigate which way I'm going with the show.
That's a great point because kind of the connection about I've talked about in the live stream in the last couple of months, changing my name to just Michelle Trina, and same thing with the divorce. I'm going to East Village and doing a younger crowd at St. Mark's versus an Italian crowd at Bananas Comedy Club that they've been married, divorced. So yeah, so I switching up, and I love that. So how did you get the cruise ship? Was that I know you told me, but tell our audience. How do you get that gig of being a full-time comic, of getting bookings on a cruise ship? Hola, John Francis.
Yeah, I've done 2 stints on the cruise ship. Okay, so stint number 1, I was at the comedy club down in South Florida, and that's where a lot of the headquarters for these cruise ships are. So they will physically go to comedy clubs and scout people. So you could be at a club in South Florida and somebody will come up to you and be like, hey, you're funny and we want you to work for the cruises. That's how it happened to me. I was at the Improv in Fort Lauderdale and I was just hosting, but the lady was like, hey, we really like you. You want to come and perform. That story in itself is much longer, but I went, I did well enough for them to be like, oh, so they gave me just one cruise. They're like, we'll give you one cruise. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll go from there. It went well enough for them to be like, all right, we're going to give you more work. So I ended up working about 2 years for Carnival Cruise Lines as a performer on their ships. But then I got fired.
Oh, no. What happened?
Yeah, I got fired.
Can you
I
tell
got
us
fired because here's what happened. They gave me just one ship, and I used to go to this one ship, and this one ship had this one certain demographic, and it was a short run. If you perform on cruises, you know that the shorter the cruises, the wilder the cruises. So they're like little booze cruise, 3-day trips to the Bahamas where everybody just gets hammered. So you have to be the type of entertainer that can command a room of hammered people. So that's what I did, insults, attention grabbing techniques, a lot of physical, just to keep a drunk crowd engaged. But then I told my boss, I was like, hey, 2 years in, I was like, man, this travel is getting to me. Can I do the ship that leaves out of New York City without doing any research, not knowing that there's different demographics? I just thought all cruises were the cruise that I was doing. So I get put on this other cruise that leaves out of New York City, and it would go to the Bahamas. It would go to Canada. So I fly to Canada and I get on this ship, and let me tell you, it was nothing but 80 and 90-year-olds. Oh man,
my God.
it looked like the Titanic had never sank. That's there was just everyone was old, and I was like, oh man, I panicked. And then anyways, I did the show. I bombed so fucking hard. It was awful. And then I got fired.
Wait, they fired you? They fired you off of one badge set.
They fired me off of 2 bad sets.
I'm just saying, but that's crazy.
I had 2 shows and I did awful on the first one, and then the cruise director was like, listen, man, you better clean it up and you better make these people laugh on the second one. And again, I was a different person. I was younger. I was more defiant. You tell me not to do something, and I'm gonna do it even harder. So the next show, he told me to turn it down and curse less. I turned it up and cursed more, and then he didn't like it. The people didn't laugh, and I got fired. Here's the thing: I didn't necessarily get fired. They weren't like, "Hey, you're terminated. Turn in." They just never hired me again. They ghosted me. I just never got hired again. 13 years later, the cruise ships are opening back up from the closure of the pandemic. And an agent who I know that used to be a stand-up comic reached out to me. His name is Bruce Smirnoff. He's actually kind of legendary in stand-up comedy. And he was like, hey, man, you want to do the cruises? And I was like, I did it. I've been fired. He's like, don't worry, brand new. We'll get you back on. And I'm back on, baby. But this time I'm grown. This time I have, I'm not defiant. This time you tell me to do whatever you want me to do and I will do it. I'm trying to keep the job.
I was gonna say it didn't sound like the Oscar I know now, but that we mature as we get older. We understand, like, you gotta like, not lose your temper, or not lose your temper, but like, yes, like I think there's definitely points where when I first started doing stand up, I was like, I'm gonna use Divorce Diaries as my vehicle to get into these clubs, and that's great, but I also was like neglecting that. And then I was just like, oh, I'm not going to do mics. I only want to do paid spots, and I'll write and I'll get better on my own, as opposed to understanding that the mic system will also help me grow stronger, as opposed to me doing it by myself in the room. So I was like defiant in that way, like when I first started. And now I'm just like, well, you idiot, like, get it together. Because I think you mature in a sense, right? And I also, we've had these conversations about like just getting tighter. I used to try to go into each set with a new 5 or a new 10, and I'm like, what am I doing? And we talked about that. And also, Leslie Jones talks about in her audiobook, and the reason why I talk about Leslie Jones in that is because when I heard it from the audiobook, she was doing the same thing when she was doing stand-up, and they were like, why aren't you sticking to the jokes we found funny when we first found you? And then we had this conversation. So I think we get mature as we see our careers, and we're along the journey of comedy. So now you're working full-time in the I know that you are personally booked and busy, and you also, in addition to the cruise ships, you have, and we also, just for a pause for a second, if you're just joining us in, we got about 57 of you tuning in right now. It's a lot of questions coming out for Oscar. John Francis says, Oscar is one cool sounding dude. And then we have another question. What's your favorite comedy movie? What's your favorite comedy movie?
My favorite comedy movie? Oh man, there's so many, but I'm just gonna name 3 real quick. Friday with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. That's awesome. The Jerk with Steve Martin. I freaking love that movie. And Airplane, with Leslie Nielsen and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and those 3 movies are just ridiculously funny. The list is really long.
Well, that's great. No, that's awesome. Airplane's a good one. Vulnerability expert, good morning. We also, so let me just see if I missed any questions. Good morning, Last Beer. So now all right, so you have a one-man show in addition to the Colombian American comedy show you have. Can you talk about that and how you started that and originated it?
My one-man show is called Growing Up Colombian, which is my story of being an immigrant and trying to assimilate into the United States, into the culture, the American culture. So that's my one-man show. There's, having a one-person show, know that there's bits and pieces of it that are part of, a good portion of it is part of our stand-up, but there are portions of it that you can't really do in like a regular stand-up set, because it just kind of just fits with whatever the theme is. So Growing Up Colombian, I do it in English. I also do it in Spanish. It has a different title in Spanish because Growing Up Colombian translated to Spanish it's not a good sounding title. So in Spanish, it's called Ni de aquí y ni de allá, which means not from here or from there, meaning that I'm not fully American and I'm not fully Colombian. I'm just like, I could never be 100%.
I love that. And you've performed in Colombia, correct?
I performed in Colombia one time and it was horrifying. It was a bomb. It was a 100% bomb. And sometimes you're doing well in this business and the bomb lurks. The bomb is just around the corner to let you know, buddy, you think you're all that. No, you ain't. You need to sit back down.
That is 100% true. I will tell you a quick story about how I bombed really bad at the MC Hotel and then panicked when I was going to host the Bananas the next weekend, and that same weekend I was like, I got to get my shit together. And like I did, I just went back to my material, because you just don't know when you're around the corner of I did a set right before I opened for Cypher Sounds, and I texted Oscar, I'm like, no, they're giving me 12 and I have prepared 20. What should I do? It's stupid questions that everybody knows the answer to.
Better. When you're given 20, but they give you 12, that's even better, because you can condense all that 20 that you were going to do and just trim the fat, cut out what you don't need. And it's just rapid fire for 12 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. It's worse when you're given 12 and then they extend you to 20 because you don't prepare for it. You don't necessarily have the stuff ready to go. And then, you'll do a fire 12 and then the last 8, you're like, people are like, what's going on here?
Well, okay, so connecting this, if you're given a 5 minute, let's say you got to get a tight 5 on tape. Most auditions, for those listening in, most auditions, bookers, they don't want to really see more than 5. So let's say you get a guest spot and you're like, I need to get a tape. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a guest spot. And you need only 5 minutes, but then you look at the lineup and it says 7 minutes. What do you do?
You confirm. You go, am I doing 5 or am I doing 7?
But what if you only need a 5 minute for tape and then they give you a 7? Do you say, like, is it, and then they say, no, we want you to do 7. Then what do you do? Does that make sense?
Oh, that's really easy. Yeah, you do your 5 that you're gonna that you're taping, that you want on tape. You do your 5, and at the end of that last joke for your 5 minutes, you pause longer to then get into the last 2 minutes, because that last pause, that hopefully big applause break, you can, on video, you can cut it and then you just do the rest for the audience.
Boom. That's a solid answer. And that's a little fun fact. And yes, I love that because that would make sense. And yeah, because I happened to me and I was like, fuck, what do I do? So I didn't pause though. I just kept going and I was like, I didn't pause and I couldn't use it. So that's great.
In your mind, you have to know where you're at, and then you're like, okay, this was the set for 5 minutes. The laughter dies down. You pause. You take a minute to kind of gather yourself. Let the audience go back to 0. You breathe. That's the cut on the video, but then you get back on board to finish out the rest of the 2 minutes for the audience. Hopefully you have another quick 2-minute banger, and then you can bring that laughter back up and be like, bye bitches, I'm out.
Bye, bitches, I'm out. And we got in the chat good advice from Vulnerability Expert. Yes, that's excellent advice. That's a great tidbit. We have another question for Oscar. And I think we might have answered it before, but how old were you? What was your age when you first got your stand-up comedy bug?
I was, I think, 22 years old in 2001. I think I was 22 years old.
So we have been in it. We have been talking to Oscar Collazos now about his comedy journey. You have performed in Spanish and English. I think that's amazing, by the way. What do you think the challenge is, though, when you're performing? Do you think there's so your your first language, you consider your first language Spanish?
Yes.
I sound very white.
That is my first language. Yeah. I was born in Colombia. My first language was Spanish.
And that's it, fucking exactly. I should already know that because I introduced you as being born in Colombia, and the gringa here is being a moron. I don't know what special word for. Anyway, so do you think when you do your stand up in Spanish versus English, is there a change? Is there a different? How do you feel about that? What is the difference? Do you find it more difficult in one of the languages or the same?
No, I mean, there's a couple things on one side, a couple things on the other side. Number one, you know how you have to, whenever you get on stage, you have to connect with an audience. You know what I mean? Like, you have to somehow connect. And like, for example, you'll use a divorce joke to hopefully connect with the people who have been divorced in an audience, and then you get them and then they're on board. When you do a show in Spanish, you don't have to connect because you're already the culture. There's no connection there. They're Latino, they're immigrants, they're Hispanic, they're whatever they want to call themselves, and you are that as well. So you don't have to connect. So that's easier on that end.
I love
some, I have way more content in English than I do in Spanish. In English, the longest I've ever gone, and I had to wrap it up because the audience was getting tired, because I felt like I could have kept going, was about an hour and a half. And that was, I don't know, that was 2022 when I did just a straight hour and a half. And then my girlfriend was there. It was just a one-man show, and my girlfriend gave me the light. And I remember getting the light, and I'm like, I never told this girl to give me the light. What the hell she give me a light for? And then my girlfriend was like, man, they're just getting tired. Like, you can tell they're tired. So so I think now I probably have more than an hour and a half that I can, keep doing straight. But in Spanish, I could only really bang out about 45 minutes to 50, maybe an hour. So content wise, it shrinks a little bit in Spanish. I have, although I'm fluent and although I'm native speaker, it's easier for me to think in Spanish. I can think. I mean, I think in English, and I can speak in English a little easier. Specifically with like improvisation, things that are off the cuff really quickly are easier in English because I've been doing it for so long, and they're a little tougher in Spanish. I have to think before I fire something away in Spanish. You know.
I mean, but still, you're a step ahead of a lot of us. I only speak one language, and you can do both. I think that's amazing. I have someone called me pendeja in the chat, which is great. So, all right.
Let me educate the people. Let me educate the people and possibly you. Do you know the original dictionary definition of the word pendejo?
I do not. I thought it was an asshole, wasn't it?
That's like slang terminology, yeah. But the noun pendejo is a single pubic hair. You didn't know that, did you?
Listen, you learn
Look
something
it
new
up.
every day. The more you know on the Michelle Training YouTube channel with Oscar Collazos, we are being called one pubic hair. Thank you. I appreciate this. Speaking
Yeah,
of
so they're calling you a pubic hair.
Hey, I get wax. Anyway, I want to bring up. All right, I want to bring up the fact. So Oscar, your girlfriend is in entertainment, right? So you're in a relationship. She's in entertainment. She's in production on Broadway, correct?
Yes.
How do you juggle that? Just being a on the road comic, right? And you're doing a cruise. By the way, if you see me looking down here, it's because I'm looking at the Streamlabs. I know you're up here. But how do you juggle that? Because you've been with her for a long time, right? So how do you guys juggle that? You're on the road. You know, you guys have probably sometimes alternating schedules because a lot of stand-ups at night if you're in New York. How do you balance that? The work play life.
Well, first and foremost, being that she's on Broadway, she did a national Broadway tour. So for one entire year of our relationship, she was on the road and throughout the United States. So what I did during that time period is I went and visited her wherever I could, whenever I could, and whatever cities I'd never been to. So I visited her in Albuquerque, I visited her in Minneapolis, I visited her in St. Louis when she was on her road trip. So she understands that this life is, she's in the entertainment world, so she understands that there's travel involved. When you go date somebody that's a 9 to 5er, they don't get it. It's a little tougher, and I think they lose their patience a little quicker. I also think like we have both realized that we're both good people. We're both loyal, committed, good people who were raised right by good parents. So she's like, well, I'm not gonna let this guy go, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let her go just because we can't. That's another thing. And you being divorced, tell me if I'm wrong in this thought process, okay? And I say that because I think this type of stuff leads to divorce. Some couples are just around each other 24 hours a day, and after like 10 years, they freaking hate each other. Because you're just around each other for so long that you're just like, I hate that guy or I hate that woman. You know what I mean?
I also think that if you have to have an understanding of I agree with you. I think having your own separate time alone is important. I think my boyfriend's gonna laugh because I would be like, oh, but I also do love our time where it's like we're doing our work and being invested. One of the things I think in a healthy relationship is you both have to have, for lack of a better word, a passion for what you do. Because 100%. Right, like I love when I see somebody so excited about their work, like my boyfriend is, and and excited about other things. Then obviously you want to be together, but like you need to be able to grow in your own individual space. So yes, I do think you get sick of each other at some point. You would think, but I'm also like a lover of love, and like I just want to like be invested, But yes, I agree with that. I do think you need to kind of get your own space, and absence makes the heart grow fonder to some extent, right? Do you now when you're on the ship and the Wi-Fi is off? Do you have like a face? You use WhatsApp, so that's still you're still able to communicate. Good. Now, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Is your girlfriend Latina?
No, she's a white girl.
We were making this joke at your show when I talk about the Latino, and I didn't know your friend Eric's wife was in. They had seen me open for Christina Mariani, so I made a joke. I'm like, Eric looks like all my ex-boyfriends, and I didn't know what was going on in the audience. But then I guess it was like, it was a really funny bit. I'll have to reshare Oscar's because Oscar did an amazing bit about. She was about to take off.
I just went on stage after you, and I was like, "Oh, she's up here talking about Eric is like my ex-boyfriend with the wife right next to Eric, and the wife is like, who's this bitch? I'll kill this bitch. Are you kidding me right now?"
And the funny thing is, I can relate to that. All I said was he looks like my ex-boyfriend. Because I was talking about the comp that I did years ago. But I can understand the Latina feeling like, who the fuck is this bitch talking about my? Because immediately our senses go through, who the fuck are you? Me? Like it goes to that place. And
it was such a funny moment. It was such a funny moment.
So, all right. So going back to a little bit of the comedy world, I want to wrap up this interview because this is going amazing. Oscar, you're great. You got a wealth of knowledge. You're out there doing stand-up full time, and you're making your personal and professional life seem to be thriving, but you're also very honest about the journey. Now, I saw your Instagram story. You were stuck on the plane. Sometimes you had, yesterday. I still feel like you should start some kind of travel like the airplane diaries. I think it's funny. What's that travel like? Does the ship provide you with the flight, and then sometimes you have to ride standby, or how does that work?
The ship, the cruise ship companies will pay for your flights, right? And once you get to the airport, you just hope they take off on time. You hope they land on time. And lately it's been quite the journey. Well, you show up and a flight's canceled, it's delayed. I spent like 12 hours at the Norfolk, Virginia airport. And let me tell you, there are some airports where you could spend 12 hours because they're cool and they have things to do and they're big and they have, appealing bars and restaurants and shopping and, entertainment and glitz and glamour. And there are some that look like a fucking hangar, and Norfolk is basically a hangar. And I was there for 12 hours and I was just like, oh my God. Okay, you're going to understand this. I was on this flight from Norfolk back to New York City. So I got there early to get on the standby.
Yikes.
As I'm waiting on the standby, I'm like third in line. I'm number 3 for standby. I see a group of comedians walk by and I'm like, wait, I know that guy. It's Andrew Schultz. And I know Andrew from way back long time ago. And he kind of looks at me and I look at him and I'm like, oh, and then, we say, what's up? How you doing? He must have been doing some type of theater nearby. I think he was. And here's a part that kind of made me feel a little shitty. It's stupid and I know I shouldn't, but it still does. Andrew Schultz is big and famous. He's on the flight. He's in first class. I'm getting off a cruise ship trying to trying to fly standby. And then then when I told them, I was like, oh man, I'm trying to I'm trying to fly standby. He's like, man, I hope I see you come through. And when the doors closed and I didn't go through, I think that maybe Andrew was inside like, oh, Oscar never got on. So my next flight was at 2 p.m. But that one got delayed, and then I didn't leave till 8 p.m. So I showed up to the airport at 8 a.m. for a 10 a.m. flight, which I missed by 1 seat, only to fly out at 8. And this whole time, I'm like, Schultz is back home. Schultz is just chilling at his house because he's in first class, because he's big and famous, and I'm doing cruise ships, which there's nothing wrong with that. But the reach is, he's got more reach, and he went home on the flight in first class with champagne in his hand. And I am just walking around the Norfolk airport for 12 freaking hours.
It's not funny, but
that happens a lot.
it's not fun. I'm not laughing at you. The piece of this is huge because that is where we're at in the comedy world. It is like that vastness, right? Like yeah, but let me tell you something. I do believe you work your ass off, you're funny. I do think everyone has their peak moment where it's like, all of this. You ever hear that where compounds pounding, where you keep hitting the piñata and eventually the candy falls out, right? I do believe in that. What is your thought process now as a stand up? Like, do you think that as far as like hitting the stage, do you think you should be going to all these open mics? So we talked about this offline, but like I'm trying to do at least 5 reps a week, bare minimum. But what I'm noticing is sometimes when I go to these mics, I'm like, this isn't really helping me, or is it? So do you, and right now, like the dojo is right now it's close to me, but it's been a little bit closed. They have this whole thing with their capacity. So it's either between practices, my daughter's practices, open mics during the week, whatever spots I get, and then trying to head into the city and hang out at these clubs. But there's sometimes I just can't hang out. So what's more beneficial, do you feel like? Doing a mic where no one's paying attention, hanging out at the club, to try to get a spot, or obviously is it subjective or relative?
I think it's subjective. I think it's relative. I think it depends on where you are in your comedy journey. Listen, if you get up and you're funny and you're somewhat confident / maybe established that you can be funny on stage at any given moment, I don't think going to an open mic and listening to yourself talk to a bunch of people who aren't paying attention is going to pay any dividends, because you can do that talking to a group of people at a bar. Like if you go to a restaurant and sit down at a bar, and then you're able to tell the same story to the bartender or maybe 2 or 3 people that's kind of like running your jokes through. You don't necessarily have to say, hey, I'm a stand-up comic, let me run this joke by you, because then people shut down and they don't want to hear it. You just the joke that you're going to do at an open mic that no one's going to listen to is the same joke that you can sneak into conversations with different people. So I don't think going to an open mic where no one's paying attention is going to pay. And if it's a good and established open mic, then then that's different, because then someone sees you and they're like, oh, when you come on my show, or this and that and the other thing, and it works that way.
That's some advice I'm definitely going to take.
Yeah, so I think going to an open mic is as rewarding as it but again, it depends on where you're at. You know what I mean?
I think
there was a second part of this that I wanted to talk about. What was it? Remind me of the second part of the question.
So also, by the way, people are saying good point, and I agree. So if I have, let's say, hanging out at a club, right? So hanging out.
Right.
That's right.
Hanging out is imperative, all right? And the reason why is really simple. My buddy, Aldo, the Aldo, yeah. So
yes,
Aldo one time said to me, he goes, out of sight, out of mind. So if you're not hanging out at the club, they forget who you are. You know what I mean? But if you're able to still get on stage and hang out, people know that you are still in it. You know what I mean? The other day I went to the Comedy Cellar and I saw Derek Gaines. Derek Gaines is super funny. He's a regular there. That guy's awesome. He's been on a bunch of TV shows. And he was like, oh man, I haven't seen you in such a long time, man. What and I remember being like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. He knows who I am. I know who he is, but he forgot about me because I've been on the ships, which is like, there's an element to it where like I'm making money on the ship, so I have to go there. But there's also this like, oh, I went to the cellar and people forgot that I exist.
That's a catch-22 right there. It's like where you're getting paid for spots, but then it's like, well, in the New York City comedy club scene, if you're not there, you're not there. I don't personally I have a prep for my kid, and I know it's like I've said this to myself, like nobody gives a shit that you have a kid because other people have kids. But like I physically can't in the weekdays. I'd like to get into the city and hang out near a comedy club, but then I don't have enough time to get back And then I'm like, I'm driving back and forth. And I'm like, if I'm just hanging out, and so like then my head does all that. So I'm trying to get more spots in the city and then go into the city, hang out in before the show or after the show to do that. And I love the advice of looking at the mic and saying, is this really where I need to be to get further along? But I also know when I have nowhere else to go, I'm like, I just want to run I want to run my set. Like I'm going to sign up for Gil Tony this week. So I just was working that 1 minute and working how I would say it. And then yesterday, but, I'm
going to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
Here's something that we have to remember. You can't be everywhere at once. You can't be like, I'm going to be at the Cellar. I'm going to be at Gotham. I want to be at the Mic. I want to be at Eastville. I want to be at New York Comedy Club. You can't be everywhere at once. So relax and just focus on where you can be. That's number one. And then number two, not everything is linear. You're not going A to B, right? You think like, oh, this is where I want to be here. And just because you think that what you're doing should get you there linear, it's not. You have no idea what comes across your path, and you can take that path different ways. Here's how I always explain it to people when they ask me, but also I have to tell myself this. How many different roads can you take, let's say from New York City to your house in New Jersey? How many different combinations of roads can you take? Let's start with New Jersey. Let's start with New York. First and foremost, you can take the bridge. You can take the Holland Tunnel. You can take the Lincoln Tunnel. You can go up to the Tappan Zee Bridge. That's at least four. You can take the Verrazano Bridge, right? So that's 5 ways that you can get out of New York City to New Jersey. Once in New Jersey, then you could take 9 million roads. So that's kind of like, for you to get home, you can take 9,000 ways. So for us to get where we want to get to, it's not linear. It's not like I'm going to be here and then I'm going to be there. That's the goal. The linear thought is I want to be home, and that's home. But to get home, you take different roads, and to get to wherever we want to get to, you never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
I love that analogy. It's not linear. There's a million different ways you could probably take. You could also take a helicopter, someone's saying, whoa, yes. So I love that, and that's very helpful. I think also just going into when you do you do, by the way, do you do mics at all anymore, or do you have enough spots where you're like, I don't need to do mics?
Every so often I'll be like, Oscar, you're not too ahead of yourself to go to a mic. And then I go to a mic and I'm like, I should have never come here. It's just the environment isn't nurturing. You know what I mean? Although, my buddy Alexis at St. Mark's, he runs good feedback open mics, because you can get on there, you can do the show, and then people constructively criticize and help you with tags and bits, and hey, have you thought about going this way with that joke? I thought of this. That workshop type of mic is good. But if you just go to an open mic to just stand on stage and then you look, Michelle, I did an open mic. There was one time, this is the thought process that I had. I was like, you need to go out to these mics because you're not ahead of, to stop thinking that you're ahead of yourself. So I went to, when it was Stand Up New York, before New York took it over, I went to this open mic and I was like, I'm just going to do this open mic circuit and just kind of just grind that way all over again. And I went to one open mic and I was last. And by the time I got on stage, everyone had left. So I did my jokes to the MC. And it was so demoralizing. It was so demoralizing. And I was like, I almost just said, you know what, let's not do this, because why am I going to do but I was like, no, you don't quit. You're here. You signed up, go with it. But when I left, I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. I went last. There was nobody. I literally did my jokes to the MC, who was like, bro, wrap it up because we're done and we want to go home. It was awful. So no.
So I think that's a great point. Also, Oscar has a really funny way. If you watch his Instagram, when shit like this happens, that's comical, he's got a great tone and lens. You're very like, I feel like you're really good. It's funny.
I just get angry and I showcase my anger.
Well, that's the Italian Latino thing that I can connect with, because it's like, we just want to flip a table. Like when shit happens where it's like, Okay, so there was a moment where Oscar said something to me via text when we were talking about just getting booked and sending tapes in, and Oscar wrote back in the way, because you're very professional, but then you wrote something back to me about how it was very infused by like anger, and I was like, see, this is why I connect with Oscar, because at any given point he's professional, but then he could turn a corner and be like, I'm gonna fucking light you on fire. It's just great. But you have, and those moments are what people can connect to and are funny. All right, so let's. We've been talking for a long time, and I do know Oscar is a very busy man, and I'm very excited because we're gonna have you back on again. You have great knowledge of your journey as a comic and just helping other people out and being a good person. I want to ask you some rapid fire ones. Who is a comedian you would want to open for?
Oh my
Or
God,
top
that's a
three?
huh? Bill Burr.
Boom. Austin or New
Li-
York City?
no, go ahead.
All right, so Austin is being an up and coming, like not really up and coming. It's like everyone's saying that it's like where stand up. Now you've been to Austin, right? Now, would you say Austin and New York City for the comedy capitals right now of the country?
I I think it's New York City by itself.
You had to choose another place to live outside of New York City. Where would you choose?
I grew up in Miami. I love Miami. I would live in Miami because, and that's more of like a proximity to family type of scenario. But if that wasn't the case, I would go to LA. Although LA sucks.
What's your dream venue? Dream venue. I mean, from theater to arena to comedy club to perform your special at.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say that the Jackie Gleason Theater in Miami.
Love
It's like
it.
it's like the biggest theater in my. That's like the biggest people play there.
I love it. What is it? Do you have any dream actor you want to star in a comedy if you were to get a big movie role?
Yeah, I mean, I think being a stand-up comedian, stand-up comic, transitions you into a lot of different things. So I would love for someone to be like, "Hey, man, you'd be great for this role." And I do little acting things here and there. I'm not the best at it, but
No, you are.
if my buddies, write a movie and they're like, "Hey, this part's for you. Let's freaking do it."
Do you have a famous actor you would want to work next to, like De Niro? Let's say I would love to work next to De Niro, but I don't know if he's getting up there. But is there someone you have in mind?
An actor that I would like to work next to. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, my first thought I was gonna say Robin Williams, but he's no longer here. But I would have loved to work with that guy.
He's amazing. Now, all
Yeah.
right, getting bumped. Do you bump getting bumped? Is that part of the process, or you fucking get pissed off when you feel it?
Getting bumped off a show.
Getting bumped for a more well-known comedian, or which is part of the process. Let's say a comedian comes. Let's say Dave Chappelle comes into the set and you get bumped, right? Are you initially pissed or part of the process, or are you like, yeah, it's cool, not a big deal?
Yeah, it's part of the process. It's happened to me many times. I think I accept it more if it's somebody well known. But if I get bumped because the booker brought in his friends, that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna pop off, but internally I'm like, I got to murder this guy.
That's exactly my thought. It's like if it's for someone that's a celebrity and they're well known, all right. But then if it's like you're just bumping me because you're fucking this chick, that's another story. Now, unless they're pregnant and expecting. No. All right. So, all right. So, anyone else in the chat have a question for Oscar? And of course, now I'm a Bustelo girl. If I could hope for any sponsors, because I drink so much Bustelo, I would want Bustelo to be my sponsor. Do you have a product or something that you would die to be like the face of? Kevin Hart is the face of Chase. You have a product in mind that you would be the face of when you are hitting that level?
Wow.
The Gators? The Dolphins?
No, I mean, uh, yeah, I mean those obviously, but that's you're a product.
Could be a football team. I mean, like you could be in those commercials. Who knows? You know what I mean? We're dreaming big here.
Yeah, listen, one time I did an NFL commercial and I desperately was channeling that they gave me a Dolphins jersey and these motherfuckers gave me a San Francisco 49ers jersey and I felt like a fraud. I
We have
remember when they were doing I remember they were doing the takes and when the camera panned at me, I was literally looking at the camera and sending vibes of like, this ain't my team. This is not my team.
That's harsh. That's like someone giving me a Folgers coffee. I'm like, yeah, I love this. Um,
Yeah.
we got two questions for you. Do you smoke weed?
Um, I I don't, but I'm not against it. Yeah, I have smoked it before. I'll smoke it again, but I'm not edibles guy.
Okay. What is your writing routine? Do you have a writing routine you do every day? Do you have a time you write? Is there something specific you can share with us?
When I first started, I would write and I would write and I would write, and I have like they're around here somewhere, but I have just notebooks of written pages from when I sat down and would just write and write and write and write. Yeah, exactly. But now I no longer sit down and write and write and write. Now I will, think of an idea and it's just kind of, it's just a nebulous idea. And then the next time I'm on stage, I'll kind of explore it by throwing it out there. I record it and then I watch it back to kind of see where, what was funny, what was set off the cuff, what people may have suggested, that type of thing.
Do you transcribe each set or do you just write down what joke worked?
Just what joke worked. Transcribing, that's labor intensive.
It is. All right. And have you ever had a comedian that you struggled? Have you ever had a comedian that you struggled to on stage after? John Francis, not sure. So maybe have you ever, like, I guess if you gone on, have you ever gone on stage after a comedian that was struggling or that it was hard to follow?
Those are two separate questions in my personal experience. If someone is struggling and you go on stage, it's just like, oh boy, you know what I mean? So it's just like you got to work harder and you got to deliver. Now, it if you go like one time Judah Friedlander was on stage and I was to go next and he murdered so hard and I was like, oh man, I don't know. He's a celebrity, he just crushed. I have no idea how I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna go up there and eat it. But I went up there and I did very well, thankfully. And that's because when you do well, Judah did well, he creates a wave. So you create a wave and then the next person you just come and ride the wave. So that's kind of how I handle someone crushing before me. They're creating a wave. You better go ride that wave. Different. Judah Friedlander isn't going to get on stage and stink. You know what I mean? So I've been before people that stink, and if they stink, ooh, it's tough. And not only is it tough because it's an awkward environment, but it's also tough to not make fun of them when you get on stage. Like, yo, give it up for that guy that stinks. I've done that before. I've done that before.
Have you ever had any topics that should be off? Are there any topics for you that are that should be off limits?
Nope.
No. You're funny.
Fair game.
This is amazing. We've had a long interview. You've been on with me for an hour. I'm so sorry that I know I said like 10 to 20 minutes, but a wealth of knowledge here. I hope that you can come back again and be a guest and that we continue to follow the Oscar Collazos journey. Colombian Comic on Instagram. Anything else that you want to plug before we head out?
No.
I hope we work together soon again on stage. And if not, I will be obviously messaging you panicked messages about, hey, what should I do? Well, Oscar, I hope to many, many more years of working together as comics. You're a great person. Go follow Oscar Collazos. Bye, my friend.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, Oscar.
Bye.
All right, so you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. What a great freaking show. That was exactly what I want all of our live stream interviews to be, because it is just a wealth of knowledge. And we get to hear all about his journey as a comic and as a person. Yeah, fun interview. We are 5 likes away from 100. Here, let me message Oscar, because I feel like I just hung up on him real fast. Thank you so much, my friend. You did amazing. I didn't mean to hang up so quickly with you. I'm ending the live stream. Everyone's saying what a great interview. I'll make sure I put your website in the description. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, what a cool, I didn't realize we were, oh yeah, we're 20 away, so 5 likes away. I have to go pick up my kid in a second too. So if we can, yeah, I guess we could do jumping jacks. Why not, right? Yes, this is great. Let me just see if I can get to, no, we have Mike Cannon coming on Friday. So here's the hard part, is that went an hour. I was thinking a 30-minute interview, and we had so much to talk about. So, and you guys did a great job with some questions in the chat. I think, and I was very excited to have Oscar, because I know he's been in the game for a long time. Like I said, he's a full-time comic doing this regularly. So we got to get our jumping jacks in. So let me change back to my workout gear. So hang on. I know this is interview gear, and then we have jumping jacks gear. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I've known him for a while. So, see it on here. I don't know why it's coming out like weird on my computer. I can see that. Oh, 2 likes away. Oh my gosh. All right, hold on a second. Hurry. Changing into our jumping jack here. Screw it. All right. We got, actually no. Yay, Oscar. Okay, hang on. Trying to do this because we are almost at 100 likes. Wonderful job. Thank you. Perfect. So now, all right, this is not the topic. Let's go. All right, so we have Oscar. Thank you so much for coming on and being a part. We are do the jumping jacks. I didn't see Rosie today. We got 200 likes. We got 200 likes. Yeah. 100 likes, we do 100 jumping jacks. I forgot to tell Oscar that. She wanted to stay on and do the jumping jacks with us, but here we go. Alright, got 1, 2, 3. Damn it. I'll figure it out eventually. Or my stomach is definitely feel a little bloated today, not gonna lie. Not going to lie. Alright, here you go. After a lot of great points, I really liked the short story. That's really what it is. You see people who come up with and performing at a different level than you. This doesn't mean you're not getting to the destination you're supposed to be at. I know that. First of all, being able to make money off of your stand-up for the full time that he's doing is huge. And regardless of where you're at, it's whether you're riding standby or riding first class, you're a step ahead of most of us. That's 100 likes, 100 jumping jacks.
practicing interview questions for Phil Tony today and my 1 minute set. I really like the piece about the mics versus the places to hang out and showing up. So I really do have to figure out the times when I go into the city and show up at like New York Comic Con was one specifically. I really put the more in the city and being there. Yeah, just going in and hanging out at those clubs. More, okay. 100 jumping jacks. We got to 100 likes. Thank you guys for tuning in so much today. What a great stream. Tomorrow, we don't have a guest on tomorrow yet. You never know, maybe we can have one last minute. Maybe Dedrick will come on tomorrow. Who knows? Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? I think he's in Denver. That's what he said, but okay. Mike Cannon we're having on Friday, so this is exciting. We'll see you guys